We are back with our NFL DFS picks for this slate, and we are leaning into spots where the matchup, form, and price all line up, so we can explain exactly why each play fits the puzzle. Let's open at quarterback with Drake May at 6,900. We love the combo of a dash rank of 100, a projection of 23 points, and a matchup with Cincinnati, who have the absolute worst defense overall. He's averaging 21 fantasy points per game, with a steady recent run of 15, 19, and 18, and the projection is reliable because he has more than 3 starts. The news backs the talent narrative too. Multiple outlets have him sitting atop MVP chatter after a massive win streak, and there's a piece highlighting his long-standing trust with Stephon Diggs, which supports sustained efficiency on high-leverage throws. With the matchup, the MVP-level form, and the price, we expect strong median value with genuine ceiling, and he should come in minimally owned relative to that upside. For a salary saver at quarterback, Tyler Show at 4,400 gives us flexibility. He draws Atlanta, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and he's projected for 17 with recent scores of 19, 10, and 5. The projection is less reliable because he hasn't started at least 3 games. But the news flow explains the volatility. He was just named QB1 after the early season struggles with Spencer Rattler. There was also a rookie roundup noting his adjustment to the league. At this price, he unlocks studs elsewhere, and any incremental step forward in efficiency pays off quickly. We'll keep exposure modest, but he's a sensible value route. At running back, Jahmyr Gibbs at 8,300 is the premium spend we want. Dash rank 100, projected for 22, and he faces the Giants, who have one of the worst defenses overall. He's at 21 fantasy points per game, with recent outputs of 23, 41, and 6, and the news has been consistently positive around Detroit's surge and Gibbs's splash plays, with pieces praising his recent outings and even drawing broader conversations about the evolving running back role. We're after his touch count across carries and targets, his explosive profile, and the favorable game environment. This is the kind of spot where his efficiency can carry the slate. If we need absolute salary relief at running back, Jack Westover at 4,000 is a pure punt you only consider in large field builds. He faces Cincinnati, who have the absolute worst defense overall, but he carries a low dash rank and a tiny projection. He has 3 straight games of 0 fantasy points, so this is leverage only if you are building around extreme scenarios or correlated May stacks and need the savings. Otherwise, stay disciplined and prioritize Gibbs. Moving to wide receiver, Jackson Smith-Njigba at 9,000 fits as a slate centerpiece. Dash rank 100, a projection of 24, and a matchup with Tennessee, who have one of the worst defenses overall. He's averaging 24 fantasy points per game, with recent scores of 24, 20, and 25. Recent coverage has been bullish, noting accurate projections on his workload, the Seahawks' surprise season powered by his play, and even the league's attention after a dangerous hit that underscores his centrality to the offense. The why here is simple: alpha usage, efficient production, and a defense that struggles to contain perimeter playmaking. For a deep punt at wide receiver, Xavier Gipson at 3,000 is an MME-only dart. He draws Dallas, who have one of the worst defenses overall. But the news reports he was released by the Jets this week, so we need to monitor his status closely to confirm any active role. His scoring history shows 1 3 games ago and 0 since, so we only deploy him if confirmed active in a meaningful role. Otherwise, we pass. At tight end, Trey McBride at 6,800 is the premium play we're happy to pay for. Dash rank 100, projected 18 versus Jacksonville, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. He's averaging 19 fantasy points with a scorching recent line of 31, 31, and 12. The reporting backs up the breakout: 71 receptions, 718 yards, and 7 touchdowns through 11 weeks, which is elite positional volume and efficiency. Even if the overall defense is middling, his usage profile makes the projections sticky and the ceiling real. If you need a punt tight end, Austin Hooper at 2,500 is viable, but make sure to confirm inactives because he's listed as questionable. He faces Cincinnati, who have the absolute worst defense overall. He's projected for 3, with a recent run of 0, 0, and 3. This is a veteran safety valve play tied to a quarterback we like, and at the stone minimum, you are simply betting on a handful of short targets and a red zone look in a plus matchup to return salary-based value. In the flex, Rashee Rice at 7,700 is a clean one-off. Projected for 17 against Indianapolis, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, with a recent run of 10, 19, and 10 and 19 per game on the season. The news has flagged him as an intriguing option in recent weeks, and Kansas City's offense is trending up after a statement shutout win. The why is straightforward. Concentrated target windows, dependable short area volume, and a role that rarely disappears even when the game slows down, giving him a high floor with access to a multi-touchdown ceiling. If you want a cheaper flex alternative, Hunter Henry at 3,900 pairs, well with May in builds. He gets Cincinnati, who have the absolute worst defense overall, is projected for 10, and has recent scores of 9, 2, and 9. He profiles as a steady chain mover with red zone work and fits balanced constructions. Defense brings us to the Seahawks at 4,000 against Tennessee, who have the absolute worst defense overall. We like the combination of a high team dash rank with a projected 12, and we're leaning on coaching, pass rush, and field position in a spot where mistakes can cascade. For a pure salary punt, the Jets' defense at 2,000 is in play versus Baltimore, who have one of the worst defenses overall. This is purely a price-driven stab for large fields where you're hoping for sacks and a turnover or two to pay off the minimum. To wrap it up, we are anchoring our core with Drake May, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Jackson Smith-Njigba, because the matchups map perfectly to their roles, the projections line up, and the news cycle supports sustained production. We then mix in values like Tyler Shough, Austin Hooper if active, and salary pivots like Hunter Henry and the Jets defense when the build requires it. Stay on top of actives and late-breaking news, especially with Gibson's status and Hooper's health, and let the why drive every roster decision.